Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wrestling Fans Insight WWE Rebound. This is episode number 62 for us. I am joined by our co-host, Carlos. How you doing, bud?
Good. And again, because we know WWE listens to our podcast. Hello, WWE Backstage.
Oh, boy.
Good job on those women belts. Keep up the good work. We'll give you some more tips today.
we just have to transform the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, and then I think we're complete, right?
I would love if they just, again, introduce some 6-man titles and keep the tag titles on both shows, and I think it'd be fabulous.
Yeah, I don't know if they can even fit that in the programs the way they keep going anymore. But yeah, anyways, that failed. Thanks a lot, Carlos. Anyways, we got our other co-host, Bryan, the Hype Ballard. Bryan, happy Father's Day, brother.
Thank you. To you guys as well. Whether you're celebrating or even enjoying. It feels like it's been forever, so I'm glad to be back in.
Forever since you've been a father, or forever?
Or no, forever since I've been on one of these shows with us. I feel like it's just been weird. Every weekend, there's some kind of other thing, you know.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, it probably has been forever since you've been a father, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. All righty. Hey, how for those of you normally tune in, we've decided to kind of go a different direction. We are going to start doing 2 different segments between WWE and AEW. So we're going to try to start with WWE today with our WWE Rebound program. Carlos, what's your thoughts on how WWE went this week?
They had a good week. You know, I thought all the shows were entertaining. To me, I mean, I wanted more out of NXT, but I thought Raw was excellent. I thought SmackDown was really good. My one thing with SmackDown though is because, again, for anyone who doesn't know, I usually work on Fridays, and so I'm usually watching SmackDown on the DVR. And for me, it was hard not to just want to fast forward to the Bloodline main event, but I actually watched the show through and through. But that's one problem I think they have right now. But no, I think both, and again, I think both companies are rolling in on slow news right now. I think they're both doing a really good job.
Well, you kind of cut in and out there, but no, you're good. We caught you at the tail end. So, Bryan, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because we had that weekend with all that wrestling, you know, PLEs and pay-per-views all in one weekend, and it was almost like WrestleMania, right? And then we've got this drought of nothing almost to the end of June or almost July, right? WWE is kind of just filling the gaps with some Money in the Bank build up, right? And they did more of that. And then the big news of the week was finally the Uso Bloodline storyline, which honestly is one of my favorite moments of the week. So
I feel you on it feels like WWE has nothing. It seems like it's always going to be slow during the summer season. Of course, you know, everybody's out and about and you don't have as many eyes watching the televised product, but if there's live events in town, that's where they're going to be. And that's a real struggle. However, I do have to say with WWE going out of the country with these last few PLEs, I think that's actually been more beneficial to them than keeping it more in the States, really. So with Money in the Bank being built up, we've got a lot going on right there. So far, Carlos, what's your biggest what's the match you're looking for the most out of Money in the Bank in London?
Well, the biggest thing that I want to give, that again, you know, you got to give the devil their due sometimes. And the thing that I give WWE credit for is, as I'm not even, we were all so pissed when Cody didn't win the title back at WrestleMania, and we were just waiting for that rematch. When's it going to happen? Everyone's debating, is it going to be SummerSlam? Is it going to be Money in the Bank? I could care less right now. Because I think putting Cody against Dominic is a great thing, because you're putting Cody against the biggest heel that people want to get his ass kicked, and maybe it's a mismatch, but at the same time it's like, man, I want to watch Cody beat his ass, you know. So it's like, I think, and then too with the whole Usos, the Bloodline thing, it's like they're doing a great job of keeping your mind off the fact that we wanted Cody Rhodes and Roman, and we wanted Cody as champion. They're doing, WWE, kudos to them. They're doing a great job with both of these storylines. So honestly, those 2 matches are what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I love the shift in as far as the whole bloodline storyline, everybody still wanted Cody to be the one to dethrone Roman. When I was asked after WrestleMania, I think it was on my way to Reno, actually, I did a Ask Me Anything on my way to all the way for that long trip to Reno. And one question I was asked is, well, who do you think dethrones Roman? And I said Jey Uso. And that was before we started seeing the aftermath of WrestleMania continue on with the bloodline. And sure enough, here we are. I think we're going to see main event Jey be the one who dethrones the tribal chief. My guess is that will be more toward the SummerSlam. I think the buildup now, I believe, which was, I think it was already announced, but I could be wrong. I believe it's going to be Roman and Solo going up against
the Usos. Yeah,
at Money in the Bank.
Yep, it is.
And what's your thoughts as far as that direction, Bryan?
Yeah, I love it. I will say on record, I'm still in support of Cody just because, it's so right. And then, I thought they would have had to have something major for him to give up being a president or a VP, and everything over at AEW. We know that story, but so I'm still disappointed in how that hasn't played out yet, but I'm not unhappy with the Usos direction. I still love the fact that it was Jimmy that did the initial breaking up. And I love that because, they hinted at it, but I didn't really take it serious, and I just basically was like, okay, wow, Jimmy. And then it made me pay attention to Jimmy more. And he's got a good, he's the bigger of the two. He's got good mic skills. He's, I just never looked at him in that light because I was always looking at Jay. So it'll be interesting to see how they can develop those two. And can they both maybe someday be main eventers as a single competitor?
Yeah, I think it will be different.
I still think it's going to be Cody too, for the record. I still think Cody's going to be the one.
I don't know. I think Cody's going to be more destined for the World Heavyweight Championship than the Undisputed Championship or whatever the hell they call that title now. That was the only thing I didn't think they thought very well was how to actually officially name that championship. Because if you look at
it's just the which one, the Roman or the Seth one?
The Roman.
Because that's a Vince McMahon fucking thing. I can tell you right now. Undisputed.
There's Carlos already throwing in the insight instead of Heather now. So thanks, Carlos. Potty mouth. Yeah. But anyways.
Fuck.
And
words, I learned this in school. Words aren't bad. It's how you use them that makes them bad.
Shout out to our friend Cody Sturmer, who always gives me the lecture on we say fuck too much. So there you go, Cody. Anyhow. But no, I think now that with the bloodline developing, main event Jay going more toward Roman's position as far as not just head of the table, but the undisputed champion, I think Cody's direction now is going to be more towards Seth or whoever may be the world heavyweight champion at the right moment. So I don't know. I think you would have to move Cody to SmackDown in order to do that. And I think it would be too early to move him between the brands right now.
But for me too, the thing about it too is I feel like I personally see Cody winning the Royal Rumble. I think he's going to win back to back. But because right now too, you have your two biggest faces on the same brand, and I think they need to eventually get them away from each other because eventually the fans might turn on one. I think Cody and Seth, because they are the two biggest baby faces now, I think that they do have to eventually be on different brands.
And speaking of Cody, there you go. I know that's Cody right there, the one that says Facebook user. So
that's funny. Cody, I keep thinking back to Dustin Rhodes tweet, and it was really right after Mania when they started booking Cody into the Brock Lesnar program, and he just hit a bunch of angry emojis with some middle finger emojis, and I don't know, him knowing the business and being close to the situation, that told me something he almost thought they screwed over his brother in a sense, because so I read into that tweet a lot when he did that, and I was like, oh, and something didn't go as planned or as promised.
That, or maybe it was just something he wasn't expecting.
I think it was doing kayfabe. I think he was acting into
yeah. That.
Would he do that to help WWE though?
I mean, I think sometimes to help the wrestling business, like my brother, like at the end of the day, like. But then I've also seen a tweet where he said, "Let him finish the story too." So he's also reneged on that because I've seen other
True.
tweets from him where it's like, let the story play out, let him finish the story. So I think as a viewer, maybe just in the moment, but I think he also sees the storyline that they're doing right now, which they're redoing Hard Times.
True.
Yeah.
And again, for me, I can, and just really quick, to play this Bloodline storyline could easily be playing out without the world title right now. So but it still would have been just as good without the title. And for me, it almost would have been good to see it without the title because you want to see people be able to carry a program not being focused around the world championship because not everybody can have the title. But like I said, back to but they're doing a good job of making me forget that I wanted that, like with the Cody and putting Cody with Dominic is perfect. And, the whole bloodline explosion. So kudos to them on that part.
Yeah. And you make a really good point too about, the Uso storyline could be without the title. And that's,
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
And it makes me almost forget about that element of it, even though Roman's carrying like 4 titles on him, and so he's a champion. But no, I do agree. Like, yeah, it's a good point. I think this is one of the best storylines I've seen. Man, I got to think back in a really long time.
But I also remember a lot of this, it fell into their lap. Like they weren't planning Sammy made all this for them too. Don't ever forget that. Let's give credit where it's due. Did we lose John?
I think we did, but we're still on. So
okay, cool. Again, don't give them too much credit. A lot of this fell into their lap.
Yeah, and it's weird because I can't remember the last time I've been so captivated by a storyline. I mean, there's plenty of great ones over the years, but this one has really sucked me into that TV. And I find myself literally talking to myself while I'm watching. I'm like, man, that's good, guys. It's so good, and like. Because I can just, being a little kid, you look at it differently, but being older now, you look at those little things and you're like, man, these guys are just doing such an awesome job. And you get so, gravitated when a story can drive emotion in you and relate to you, by like a family breakup or, maybe it's just a close friend that you've parted ways with, for whatever reason. And, so, I mean, when a story can pull those real life elements into it, it's so huge,
And they're doing a good enough a job because like I found myself, like I said, I was watching it on DVR and I wanted to just fast forward through it, but I'm like, but again, we have a podcast and I got to watch everything. But it's like, and it's good for them because almost like the rest of the show doesn't matter because I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen with the bloodline,
Yeah. I agree.
Do you have the raw results? Can you get the results up on your phone in case we lose John for a minute?
Yeah, let me go there for us.
Right.
Is there while I do that, is there anything like else that, Money in the Bank wise, like what about the 2 matches that and the way they're building towards the women and men's match? How you feel about that?
I like the fact that the Money in the Bank men's match has like new competitors in it and people that really haven't been world champion besides I think there's one former world champion in there, isn't there? Or no, there's none, isn't there? I think there's none. So there's no former world champ. So I think that part of it's cool, but I just wish they would have had more competitive matches to get in there. Like I think if they would have had like better opponents to like they should have all beaten a former champion to get in there maybe, like if they all would have had stronger opponents to get to qualify for the Money in the Bank, I think it would have felt a lot better. But I'm still excited that it's going to be something fresh, And I'm looking maybe to have Logan Paul get added to that and win it. That's why I'm kind of looking at the men's.
Ooh, that would be a very intriguing idea. I like that. Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Damian Priest, and Butch.
Yeah. There's no former champions in it. So again, it's kind of going back to I feel like it's going back to the origins of Money in the Bank, which I think is really cool. But for me, I just wish they would have had better matches. Like seeing Baron beat Baron Corbin Ali, like they should have all beat better competitors to qualify. Like they all should have had a match like Damian Priest did for Matt Riddle. Even though I feel like they shouldn't have buried Matt Riddle like that when they're gonna have him going after the Intercontinental title. It doesn't make sense for him to be fighting for the IC title when he just lost a Money in the Bank qualifier match. But I think all the people should have had those kind of matches to qualify for Money in the Bank. Like they all should have beat somebody who was more important to make it seem like a better build, like especially with the roster they have. like they should have had like more Johnny Garganos, like former NXT World Champions in there instead of like guys like kind of mid card jobbers in a lot of these matches. And again, for the women's one, I'm excited for that too. Again, I'm intrigued by Trish Stratus possibly getting involved in it. But again, I just should have been stronger. If you had Charlotte Flair, they should have had people beat Charlotte to get it. They should have had better qualifying matches than what they did to get into the matches, to get into there. Because you're really getting, if you really think about Money in the Bank, you're pretty much getting your chances. You're getting a world title reign if you win. So I wish they would have just had better competitive matches to qualify for it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And looks like our Kingmaker John's back in.
Oh, thank goodness. We were lost.
God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, John, we were like, okay, let's keep talking.
Well, what had happened? I don't know if you guys heard any of the buzzing noise.
You had to go take a shit out? Is that what it was?
No. Like, why are you being such a dick today?
I'm in a good mood. That's why.
Never mind. I'm going to leave it alone. No, I don't know what happened. I ended up with not quite the blue screen of death, but one of those error screens saying something malfunctioned and shut me down. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Really? In the middle of a broadcast?
Well, it looks like we were able to still keep going. So
that's good. I mean, at least we had you.
Bryan was looking for the results because I was like, well, we should start reading results. But now that you're back, why don't we go into the results?
Well, no, I haven't been doing results. I've been doing results on the mini podcast.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we're not going to go over results. We're just going to talk about the shows?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Heaven forbids, this is our rough draft here, folks. So,
So we were just kind of talking about Money in the Bank and the build for the men's and women's.
Yeah.
And then one thing I was going to add to Carlos was I find it interesting that all the competitors in the men's, while they've had mediocre mainstream success, they were all like really successful in NXT. So I think we're getting kind of an NXT style Money in the Bank match on that one.
No, it is cool. It is like kind of like NXT Black and Gold. Like I kind of pick on that too. Like it's sure maybe this is like Triple H putting his stamp on things. But like I said, I'd rather have seen them beat better guys to qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're still. Actually, no, all the men's spots are filled now, right?
Correct. Yeah. Well, we're just talking about what if they add Logan Paul to it. That's one thing I'm intrigued by.
I would be super intrigued by not only that, but him winning. That would just
him winning it because then it keeps it off TV. It kind of I feel like putting it on him makes. That's why I think he's going to get added because I think if he wins it, he's only there like 4 times a year or whatever like that. It kind of it allows them to kind of play off these other storylines without having to worry about the Money in the Bank storyline as well.
Yes, and it would imagine the viral videos they could do with him in a Money in the Bank briefcase. Let's be real.
He could be on a plane somewhere, the day of Raw. Am I coming today or not?
Yeah,
that's a good way to get their social media engagement. Again, him as Mr. Money in the Bank really. I think it's the right choice. I'd put it on him.
I like it.
John doesn't like the idea, obviously.
No, sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I don't have this problem again. So I'm trying to shut everything.
Wake up, monkey. Monkey.
Hey, don't make me post it. You know what? Screw it.
We're gonna run an ad for our nacho cheese.
Yeah,
there it is.
Available at Dollar General everywhere nationwide.
Just for Carlos because he needs the bad monkey today. He's getting out of control. I can't even keep up with his energy today. So, no, I don't. I missed a lot of the conversation, so I apologize, guys. But
just say I agree with everything Carlos said, and we'll be good. Ready? Say the words. I agree.
It still throws me off when I see Butch, right? Like, and kind of the character.
I like the Butch character though. I love him as Butch. Like just
Scrappy too. He's like, let me out.
Yeah, what he reminds me of? You know what he reminds me of is Crash Holly.
Oh, I don't want him to be Crash Holly.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
But just that kind of energy, like let me at him, let me at him. That's how Crash Holly was, But he's way better than Crash Holly. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, but that's that same kind of energy though. Like he's feisty and like you got to almost keep him on. Like you said, Scrappy Doo is a good comparison. I'll go with
Scrappy
that.
Doo. I'm gonna start calling him Scrappy Doo.
I like that. That's a good. But I like it was Butch, just this little feisty guy that you might have to lock in a closet every so often. Like
puppy power.
I like. Yeah, I think he's done. He's made a lot with it. And again, I wouldn't care if he went back to Pete Dunne, but I kind of like him as Butch. I think he does it really, really well, and he's still Pete Dunne.
Well, maybe we can have Mike Rome announce him as, coming in and astonishing 450 pounds like they did for Crash as well, So.
Exactly, start carrying a scale with them, I love Crash Holly. Oh my God, I love him.
Yeah, rest in peace, though, Crash.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that guy did bring us some fond memories over the years, and
he did.
Just see him face all the really super heavyweights just killed me.
Yeah, exactly.
And he still got the pin. That's what really killed me.
And then he like what he did with the hardcore title too, running away and he defending it anywhere. It was so funny. It was so good. It was great.
It's the thing I was looking at with these Money in the Bank matches that I wanted to point out. I've noticed on the shows more they've said they've alluded and made more like, oh, they can go for any title, not just the world titles, even though we knew that rule. I noticed they've been advertising that a little more. So I'm wondering with these guys being kind of some mid-card guys, I wonder if they're trying to plant that in our heads a little bit psychology-wise to say, well, don't get annoyed if they go for the Intercontinental title or, you know what I mean?
But see, that's for me. Then put the belt on. Then have Logan Paul in a match and give him the briefcase. Because that's what I said. If they're trying to let these other storylines play out, let them play out. Like keep it away. Give it on somebody who's not going to be there. Because if you're not because they're not having Cody in it, like put it on Logan because he's not going to be there all the time.
Yeah.
And again, to me, like it just doesn't make sense. If you're somebody who has a chance, like if you're somebody who wins Money in the Bank, why wouldn't you want to use it to go main event WrestleMania for payday or for the thing, or why wouldn't you want to use it to try to cash in on the world title where you're going to make more money? It just makes no sense that they would try to quit trying to feed us that garbage WWE.
Yeah.
Well, I think in some ways though, having some of those mid-carders also gets them a way out there to show what they can do, and it might be a way of seeing where they could possibly see them in the future too.
Well,
even though we know they're not going to win, we know pretty much who the top two are that they're going to choose. I mean, for me, my guess is they're going to probably go with the LA Knight. I don't know what you two think.
Well, one thing that you just hit on, I love is, I think we do have to kind of have an era of not everybody that cashes in wins, right? Because I think we got built into that mindset early on with so many amazing cash-ins. So I think I'm okay with like these mid-card guys winning and then losing, but like you said, kind of test like, hey, I'm worth looking at. I'm kind of an up-and-comer. To answer your question, if I'm looking at it right now, LA Knight looks like the favorite, but I would be very intrigued to either see Damian Priest or Santos Escobar do it. Santos, just because that could create a natural rivalry with Ray and kind of a split off, but I think it's too early for that with LWO. So I kind of would like to see Damian Priest get a look at it because he's been kind of taking the lead a little bit. And you can tell that Judgment Day's kind of gone their own ways without officially,
But my thing is, I don't want Damian Priest to leave Judgment Day because he's like their big man. You're gonna replace Damian Priest with the little what's his name forehead? Like I can't what's his name? His protege, the one that he trained. The guy that came out from NXT.
I don't know who the hell you're talking about.
The Irish guy from NXT, the one that they're saying is going to join Judgment, JD McDonough.
Oh, okay.
Like you're gonna have a bunch of little guys, and I feel like Judgment Day needs a big man, and replacing Damian with JD McDonough is not that,
Yeah, I would say it's neither a breakup or it's
of the whole faction,
a whole blow up, but I would like to see Damian Priest have the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then you got Finn still as kind of the head.
His jealousy.
Yeah, and I see Damian Priest, and I'm not saying he's ready to be world champion, but man, he's doing some great stuff as he's slowly sneaking up in the ranks with us.
Or what if Finn wins and Damian Priest gets Money in the Bank?
Oh, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean that could be another angle they'd be shooting for too, but we already start to see the animosity. Well, I guess not animosity, but the conflicts between Damian Priest and Finn Balor.
Well, and isn't the history of the Judgment Day, like, isn't being the leader of Judgment Day almost a bad thing? I mean, because they turn on their leaders, right? They turned on Edge, replaced him with Finn. Maybe that's a thing Judgment Day's known for, is eventually turning on their leaders and asserting a new leader.
Oh, in that case, let's put Dom as the leader.
How dare you?
Wow, Carlos, you.
Hey, can we talk about the Finn Balor and Seth Rollins promo? How good it was! That was I love the whole line. You were getting better. You're getting bitter while I was getting better. Oh my god, that was so good.
Yeah, it's. I love the chemistry between the two, and I think we're going to see one hell of a match. But who do you think's going to win?
Oh, Seth Rollins.
I think Rollins needs to win. The title is too young still, and it just needs to stay. It's got credibility with a good former world champion holding it. I think it needs to stay with him for a while. So
I think Raw is on all cylinders right now. My only again, finish what you said. What you're going to say, John. Then I'll go into my next thing. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Like my whole thing with Raw, I feel like Raw is on all cylinders. The only negative thing about Raw right now is I feel like Rhea Ripley should be in her own feud right now as a women's champion. And I feel like that's my only thing with her. She shouldn't just be Dom's thing. Like I feel like she should have her own feud going right now, and that's my only one thing. But they really don't have any because it could be Ren Raquel, but they had her job out to freaking Shayna Baszler this week, and so it's like, because that's even what our friend, Eric was I was talking to him about it because we're talking about that. I'm like, Rhea needs to be in a feud, and he's like, yeah, but who is there? And I'm like, well, they could use Raquel or even bring back Beth Phoenix to feud with Rhea right now, but Rhea needs a feud. They really don't have any, but he top because Becky is feuding with Trish, but it's like Rhea deserves to be, and her title deserves to be in its own kind of main feud right now. That's my only kind of negative thing about Raw right now is that Rhea should be in a proper feud for her title.
I get where you're going with it. One thing I would love to see the direction of Judgment Day was to be a more dominant faction similar to the Bloodline in SmackDown. I think if they would have found a way to separate the tag team championships, put the tag team championships on Priest and Dom, obviously Rhea being the women's champion, and put either the Intercontinental or, even possibly the world championship on Finn, or find a way
they did have that chance. If you remember, don't you remember there was one Raw where it was Dominic and Priest against the Usos for the Raw titles, and they didn't jump on it. And they should have.
But again, they dropped the ball. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But this would be the good time to start doing that if they want to continue the Judgment Day. If they don't, then like you said, Carlos, let's get Mommy from the isolation of being in that group, have her stand on her own, get Finn Balor and Priest fighting each other. But where does Dom go from there?
Well, again, I still think Dominic needs Rhea, but at the same time, I just feel like the championship and everything else, you're giving her a new title. Like, she deserves to be in a proper feud. And for me, too, it'd be cool to see her defending the title at Money in the Bank, because then all of Judgment Day is in a match. And that's, again, where you're talking about making it more prominent. This would be the first, let them all be, this would be the first time I think they've all been in a match that hasn't had them together. Give Rhea a match, and the only one that makes sense right now is Raquel, but you're having her job out to freaking Shayna Baszler right now.
Yeah, but you can only keep the training wheels on Dom for so long. He's got to do something on his own, or being a tag team.
I would have loved, but they're on different brands. I would have loved to have seen Rhea dump Dom, and then I would have loved to have seen Dominic go with Bailey. That would have been interesting.
I have to smack you for that.
It would be interesting to see if Rhea did dump Dom, who her next man up would be. I'd be intrigued by that to see who would fill, because I feel like she does so well with having, the boy toy role, having that.
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting to see who would be the next one.
Zion Quinn would be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, could it be somebody that we're not even thinking, like you said, I didn't even think of that one. That'd be interesting just to see. I mean, maybe it's a JD McDonough, like you guys said, but her being kind of that, she's got that, goth dominatrix vibe to her, and then where she just kind of spits these guys in and out, and just, kind of just rotates, and breaks up with them and moves on. And then, almost to the point where she could just damage a lot of guys,
Right. Anyways, well, why don't we go ahead and wrap it up here? Get to our top 10. Brian, I know you
Okay,
did.
can we before we wrap it up? Do we want to talk about the bloodline storyline real quick?
We can. I mean, let's go ahead and talk about it now.
All right, so like I just again for me like I just want to again like we're talking about I want to just shout out Jey Uso for how much he's grown as a competitor. Just his whole again I think it's Cody, but I wouldn't be mad if Jey Uso does eventually be world champion. Because I think that he's earned it with the work he's put into it, and even Paul Heyman too. Like when Jey Uso first started talking, Paul Heyman's mannerisms, like being all scared and almost wanting to cry at first. Like I think they did an excellent job. Again, kudos to everybody. Kudos to everybody in that segment from Friday night.
Yep, I think it was a masterpiece done really well. I was actually really at the edge of my seat when Jay was sitting there giving the heat to his brother, and then we see him give the final answer and gives Roman the super kick, and then they united. They do the super kick in unison to Solo, and one more to put the cherry on top on Roman one more time. It definitely was not just a fan moment, but I'm sure Heather was screaming out loud when she watched.
She probably lost her voice and got the cops calling her.
She probably lost her voice, but shout out to you, Heather, for that one. So we hope you enjoyed it. But anyways, let's get to our top 10 for WWE for the week. I know Brian doesn't have one, but Carlos, why don't you go ahead and read your 10-1 there?
So my number 10 was Pretty Deadly. Number 9 was Baron Corbin. Number 8 was Dragunov. Number 7 was Nathan Frazier. Again, congrats on the new title, Nathan Frazier. Number 6 was the Brawling Brutes. Number 5 was Damian Priest. Number 4 was Imperium. Number 3 was KO and Sammy. Number 2 was Finn Balor. And then number 1 was Jey Uso with the rest of the Bloodline.
Awesome. My number 10, Pretty Deadly. Number 9, Cody Rhodes. I had some similar changes. Number 8 went to Chad Gable. My number 7, Nathan Fraser. Number 6 went to Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Number 5, Roxanne Perez. 4 went to both Ilya Dragunov and Baron Corbin. They had a stellar match there on NXT. Number 3 went to Thea Hale with that submission victory over Cora Jade. Number 2, Damian Priest. And my number 1, I think, is right there with everybody, Jey Uso. So, do you have any shout outs you want to give there, Brian?
Yeah, I'll do instead of a top 10, I'll do like a shucky quack quack duck thing.
Oh good Lord!
So I'll just do like my highlight of the week, and it was Jey Uso, like you guys mentioned. Just he took the biggest storyline going on right now, and the focus was on him for a good 20 minutes of SmackDown. It felt like throughout the whole night between the backstage segments and everything. And I watched it twice because I was like, man, it's so good, and he did make you kind of think that maybe he was going to give it to Jimmy, Mr. Prom King. And then he said, if you're out, I'm out too. And it was just a great, chills moment for me. So that's it.
All right. Carlos, do you have any shout outs to anyone out there? Or?
I'm good for now. I'm good.
All right. Well, I want to give a shout out to a few of my friends out there. The Fan in the Van podcast, Two Dudes Sports News. Is this a bad take podcast? And also out there to NWO Machine Invader from Wish, who do the Welcome to the Shiz show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in this week. We'll catch you again live next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully, and no more any more computer problems.
Three-ish.
Yeah, somewhere in that time frame. No, we're going to try to stick it there. So.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and again to all the single moms who have to act as dad as well. Happy Father's Day to you as well.
Yes, happy Father's Day to all the wonderful fathers out there. Again, we'll catch you next Sunday. Have a great week, everyone.